In our first story, the minority members of parliament with the National Democratic Congress side, have described the claims made by Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia about the achievement of the Akufo-Addo-led government in its first 100 days in office as outright lies, half-truths and propaganda. At a news conference in Accra on Tuesday, the Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche-Avaji described the first 100 days as one of hardships, deceit and broken promises, adding that the NDC will constructively criticize with a view of shepherding the administration so it does not roll back the clock of progress set in motion by the previous NDC government.
It is sad to say that for a party that claimed to have the men, they have been struggling to find their feet since that shameful inaugural address. They have so far been unconvincing about their mouth-watering campaign promises. They are not creating jobs for the masses. They are not alleviating hardships, save for the 110 ministers and deputy apparatchiks. But they are terrorizing Ghanaians by unleashing their several partisan paramilitary forces to achieve parochial ends. As you recall, among other promises in 2016, then candidate Akufo-Addo said he will ensure, 1, absolute free SHS education for all JHS students. The Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government has, too early in the day, proven our elders right. Our elders have for a long wisely held that agrobeso efri anopa. Agrobeso efri anopa. To which the signs of an enthralling game can be detected right from the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, the early signs of the government of our country under the MPP have been anything but impressive. Instead of an all-action approach towards rolling out their loftily policies and programs, the initial steps in this government, though tentative, give cause for major concern.
And a former Deputy Minister of Finance, Kaisel Atoforsen, who also addressed a news conference, raised a conflict of the interest situation he says involves the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in the recent issue of a multi-billion-dollar bond by government.
Finance did not, however, name any company or individual that participated in the sale, except to say that the issuance attracted a number of global portfolio investors, including a very substantial investment in the 15-year bond by a very well-respected global financial investor. So let me say that the issue did not attract a lot of investors. It was cooked for one investor.
Yes. Farmland friends.
Reuters subsequently reported that a senior government official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said Franklin Templeton had participated in the sale. According to the report, Franklin Templeton, high-profile bond fund manager Dr. Michael Hessenthal, has taken a substantial position in Ghana's cedi-denominated government bonds. Franklin Templeton Investment Limited is an American global investment management organization founded in 1947. In an unaudited financial semi-annual report of Franklin Templeton Investment Limited, dated 31st December 2016, you can find it on the internet, Honorable Trevor J. Travgin was named as one of the 5 board of directors of the firm. He was also described as the chairman of the Enterprise Group Limited in the report. Enterprise Group Limited has 10 board of directors. Principal among them was Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group, Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta, who is the wife of the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Who doubles? Who doubles? Can I take that again?
Yeah.
Because Trevor happens to be a board member of Templeton, and we checked. And straight away, after checking, you notice that under their unaudited financial statement, it has an address that leads to Ghana. Surprisingly, the information is now available in the public domain. Appears to indicate that Honorable Trevor Jane Travagan is not just a board chairman of Enterprise Insurance Limited, a company owned partially by the current finance minister, and his company, Data Bank Limited. In fact, for the purposes of the record, Data Bank owns Enterprise Group as at 31st December 2015, when we checked. They own the bank, Enterprise Group, by 39.6%. It's conflict of interest. So I want to take you into the conflict of interest situation. Honorable Trevor Jane Travagan is also a director of Franklin Templeton, which is the main participant in the recent bond issue. Putting this apparent fact together, we have reason to believe that there was a relational interest between our finance minister and his good friend, Trevor Jane Travagan, which creates a potential lack of transparency and a conflict of interest. In such parliamentary inquiry, we in the minority shall have no option but to resort to the using of the conflict of interest jurisdiction of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ. Furthermore, we also intend to exercise the option of filing a report, petition, with the Financial Services Authority, properly called the Ombudsman in the US, to investigate Franklin Templeton of participating in a bond that is not transparent.
We now turn our attention to main governance issues, and ministries, departments and agencies will now have the opportunity to engage stakeholders in their various sectors at a monthly national summit. The summit is to provide the MDAs a platform to communicate policy and programs to targeted stakeholders. Through this, government intends to build partnerships and also obtain feedback to enhance policy development. Information Minister Mustafa Hamid says the ministry will each month focus on a selected MDA or sector, and through that engagement, provide tailored information, build partnerships, and gather feedback to benefit all sectors.
The national policy summits are going to be occasional summits that we shall hold in the course of every year to allow for citizens buy-in into government programs and projects. For example, we just read the budget. A budget is the government's own national economic and financial planning for the year. Okay, that is on our part. But what is the avenue, what is the platform that will allow citizens to critically digest the various segments of the budget and to criticize it and give us suggestions, so that as we go along governing the country, we can at all points in time ensure that we are carrying along the views, the criticisms, and the suggestions of the citizenry. So the National Policy Summits are dialogue series, if you want, that would allow stakeholders of the various sectors of our economy to come around the table, look at our programs, criticize them, give us suggestions so that we can improve them constantly as we go on. You know, like I said during the launch, an unexamined life is not worth living. So these policy summits are the avenues for us to constantly re-examine our programs and to continually make them better. More importantly, with the views of the citizens inputted in them.
And the events in themselves are not far off, because the very first summit is slated for early May 1 and 2 and will focus on the economy. Government hopes the National Policy Summit will inform the public on what is being done to improve the economy.
The economy is the biggest challenge inherited by the Akufo-Addo government, and also the sector that has received the biggest share of government's policy attention in these first 3 months of our governance. Having delivered a budget that commences the exercise of correcting the challenges of the economy and sowing the seeds for growth and jobs, we are now ready to tell our story and to stimulate the needed partnerships for results. It is our expectations that through this unique platform of National Policy Summit, the public will be informed on the details of our strategies on revamping the economy and encourage people to own these policies, as well as on our part to enable us explain the policies and programs to all, including other stakeholders, Ghanaian people, both national and international people in the diaspora, everybody that is concerned with the development of our country, so that at any point in time, it is not only our ideas as a government that are running this country, but that we ensure that at any point in time, there are multiple of ideas that we are collecting to, as it is said, constantly update and review government programs and projects with a view to making them better. And at any point in time, it is our intention to continually re-examine government programs and projects with a view to correcting the pitfalls and making the necessary, if you want, arrangements that will ensure that at every point in time, we are doing things not only according to our aspirations and vision, but also according to the collective vision of the Ghanaian people.
On agriculture, the Peasant Farmers Association is worried government planting for food and jobs may face difficult challenges because key areas of the campaign have so far not been well thought out. The campaign, to be launched today, Wednesday, April 19 at Gosu in the Brafo region, is expected to cut down on food imports and also create jobs for about 700,000 people. But speaking in an interview with Joy News, Programs Officer of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Charles Yaba, said the imported seed for the program, for example, had delayed, and government is engaging national service personnel instead of trained extension officers to work on the project. Another key concern for the association was the qualification of acreage for the program being pegged at 5 acres or more. This, the association says, will particularly exclude female farmers who need some of these supports a lot more.
Planting for food and jobs is a fantastic program if you're able to implement it well. So launching it in Gosu, which happened to be the middle belt of Ghana and the food basket of Ghana, I think it's a good thing. The program itself is good. There are 3 key components in that program that we are looking at. We are aware of the problem with extension services. Our research we did in 2018 shows that we have 1 extension officer providing services to 3,000 farmers, which is a very wide gap. So MPP government promised to bridge that gap. And in their manifesto, they promised to bring it down from 1 extension officer to 3,000 farmers to 1 extension officer to 500 farmers. So that is good. And it's also captured in planting for food and jobs. If they are doing it, look, we continue to provide recommendations on how government will address farmer extension ratio gap. And we are saying that, look, when you go to most of the district assemblies, you have a lot of extension officers who are there, they are not able to reach out to farmers. What are the problems? They are lacking basic facilities like motorbikes to be able to reach out to the farmers. Those who have motorbikes don't have fuel to fuel those motorbikes to visit farmers. They don't have access to internet facility, laptops, and other things. What are we doing with those people? There are people who completed agri-training colleges and they place embargo on recruitment. Have we lifted the embargo? They are going to engage national service personnel. And those service personnel will be trained by the district agri offices so that they will go there. I have serious problem with that.
So your point is they are not engaging the already trained.
They should, in the first place, look at what we have in the system. The old extension officers who are there, they have nothing to do because of lack of logistics. They have the knowledge.
Because they are not equipped.
They are not equipped. So let's try to equip them, and now we will now bring more on board to fill in the gap. But you can't go and bring those who have no knowledge in the area. You are going to use just 1 month to train them to go and provide service to farmers.
Is that the case? Do you have evidence to show
that's the case?
That is the case.
I have spoken. I just returned from Kintampo, and I have a lot of extension officers who were looking for us to support them, so that they'll be able to do these facilities. And they themselves also said they heard that government is recruiting people, and those people will come under them so that they will train them. And the point I'm making is that
already, the National Seed Traders Association of Ghana says it was unable to meet government's demand for seeds to be distributed for the campaign or program, though the planting season had begun. An executive member of the National Seed Traders Association of Ghana, Ifya Owusu Nyantichi, explains. We have to move to some women traders at the Agbogloshi market say they are uncomfortable resuming business following last week's violent clashes that left 2 people dead. When Joy News visited the market Tuesday, they pointed to stores they said remained closed because their owners had been threatened by a rival faction in the clashes, and said the issue needed to be resolved, and until that was thoroughly resolved, they would feel unsafe doing business in the area. Hannah Odame has the rest of the story.
Today I'm back here not to talk about the clashes, but to find out the impact that this particular misunderstanding had, particularly on mothers, and how they are picking up after the incident.
Okay, the way I'm tragic, now almost to 2 into me, Miss Shamed, and I'm trying to share, baby. It's in the course of the man. Me pia na maduane ne me niema nyina as I say. I feel na makọ disca o Mrs. Tabiwa. Me dey start kakra.
So what Auntie Memuna is saying is that the day of the incident, she was in the room, so she did not see actually what happened. But by the time she came out, everything she sells was destroyed. The drinks were stolen. The glass in which she sells her foodstuffs got broken, and the pieces were in the stew, so she couldn't even use it anymore. Her appeal is that this particular issue does not happen here anymore because it has really affected her business. She has to go for a loan to be able to start all over again.
You see, and I said, who said banana, me Johnny?
Which are near Manoho?
Me Johnny, Jamie, now.
Now, over 2 near money back.
Near money, they are about to buy me shop on it, almost saying, you know.
Saying I are saying,
Omabu, Nia, media, you know, Omabu, you know.
Some piece of Baha,
you know, I'm a hope for Mistro.
I think,
ah, no pay, I was a Crawfobia group of a bray, Abegina, and Nimonomo. Ah, Omogusuka, Casabia, and Suyante, and Tim Hunisano said, I'm who first in Intama, Surasa Beshemimu.
Auntie Beatrice is also saying that she's a seamstress, and on the day of the incident, she saw exactly what happened. Some people were being stabbed, and so she's very, very, very fearful. You can even actually hear it in her voice as she speaks. She's so fearful that she cannot even go to her shop any longer. According to her, nothing was stolen in the shop, but the kiosk in which she sits in was broken, and so she has to repair it, which is another cost to her business. But Naomi is here. She's not happy because she went to her shop. Apparently, when the issue happened some days ago, her shop was destroyed. So she went there this morning to at least fix the lock and the doors. But according to her, some gentleman came there and told her to stop because he doesn't see the need why she should repair it. And then he went for reinforcement. Other gentlemen joined him and they came and they've taken over her shop. And so she has quickly run to her office to find out if her chairman and the other executives can help her.
Because of the crashes, a lot of things has gone down. These are the export promotion yams. We send them to supply. We supply to our customers at various points. But because of the fight, in fact, things has gone down. The farmers are not willing to bring their yams to risk their life, and therefore the market has lost a lot of things during the few weeks after crashes. So we are really in trouble these days.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the market has been registering some residents and traders who will be set to be evicted. And chairman of the Kukuma Yam Market Association, Noah Hassan, told Joy News the data would be sent to the IGP for further action to be taken. Every year on April 18, the world celebrates the International Day for Monuments and Sites. And the day is marked with various activities, including visits to monument and heritage sites across the world. Here in Ghana, Joy News' Patricia Gasu visited the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, also known to many of us as the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, and speaks to Ghanaians on just how much they know about the Nkrumah Mausoleum.
The world celebrates monuments and sites across the globe. That is on the 18th of April. Here in Ghana, these sites have become a tourist attraction. People travel far and near to gain knowledge about our monuments and sites. I am at the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, also known as the Kwame Nkrumah Park. But are we as Ghanaians interested in these monuments and sites? Follow me as I go out there to speak to Ghanaians, especially the youth, if they know about this mausoleum.
What I know about the museum is he was laid here. That's all I know about it.
Who was laid here?
Nkrumah. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah.
Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. When he died, he passed away, he was just buried over there. That's what I know.
The mausoleum there, me myself like this, I know that it's Kwame Nkrumah who can build this mausoleum for Ghana. Yeah. And Jerry is the one who went to the body of Kwame Nkrumah at Cape Coast and can bury Kwame Nkrumah and his wife to the mausoleum inside. So in all things we can use during those time is there for excursion people to come see everything for their like. He gets some old telescope for there and in old T-shirt and coats and the undertaker where they go use bury him all day there for the excursion people for can watch everything.
We've just heard history about it way back in the primary school, but for me, I can't say I know a lot about it.
So tell me, what were you taught in primary?
It was just about where Kwame Nkrumah's dead body was buried, you know, and some of his artifacts or things that he left behind were kept at the museum. That's what I know.
In an attempt to get more views, I realized many young people were ignorant about the relevance of the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. They shied away from our cameras. The elderly, however, gave what sounded more like a nostalgic account. Others had no knowledge of the subject, hence they turned away. The old, on the other hand, had this to say.
This place was built, according to what I've been hearing from people, this place was built in remembrance of Kwame Nkrumah. Okay. For what he is the first president of the Republic of Ghana. He has done a lot, you see, and they built this place in his remembrance so that the future generation who are coming, they can see some of his works here. His statue is there, so many things are there. And it's not for Ghanaians alone, it's for the whole world. Okay. People from other foreign countries used to come here and come and see it because Nkrumah is a very great man indeed, you see. And he's one of the best leaders we have in Africa here, or let's say he's the best.
It was after Kwame Nkrumah had been overthrown and took exile in Guinea, yeah, when another government, that was a champion government, came to power through means of coup d'etat. He negotiated with Secretary at that time, and he brought the remains of Kwame Nkrumah. That was 1972. By then, I started working as a young boy or a young man, you know. And I think this is where they buried him. That's how we had a mausoleum.
And that's it for the news tidbits we have for the morning.